At a time when the United States has a peacekeeping force in the Gulf in order to incite the Iranians to attack so that the war can break out on a decent scale while they're up there in order to make sure it doesn't happen, and Bob Hawke has responded to the call for a treaty with the Aboriginal people by saying it's out of the question, although of course he's very deeply committed to the idea of something a little bit like it, and he's prepared to stand on one leg for the 6 o'clock news. It is a source of very great personal comfort to many of us to see the Queensland Government's courageous decision to make its citizens safe from precautionary measures. There has been criticism of this initiative, certainly there has, although it's fair to say that most of it has been rather childish, predictable, knee-jerk rhetoric, which takes no particular account of the very obvious benefits of recent events in the region. The fact that the police are being trained to break into public lavatories is not something I think we should dwell on. Admittedly, it may be seen as a slight disadvantage, but only in the very short term, and with any real luck, the novelty will wear off before it becomes a social problem. The reason that contraceptive vending machines are being crowbarred from walls and taken away for what promises to be fairly detailed questioning is, of course, that they promote promiscuity. This is quite well understood, and I don't want to go into a lot of detail here. I think we probably all know the feeling. Who among us has looked at a contraceptive vending machine without experiencing a clanging of the hormones and a tendency to approach people in the streets with a range of unnatural suggestions? There isn't a more overtly erotic image anywhere in the world, I think, than the prospect of a contraceptive vending machine. Even photographs of contraceptive vending machines can do the trick on occasions, and many a jaded marriage has been given a new lease of life by the parties getting together and engaging in a full and frank exchange of views on the subject of contraceptive vending machines. As with any sound argument, of course, this thesis can be tested by the consideration of its opposite. What do people do if they do not have access to contraceptive vending machines? And again, the answer is obvious. They don't experience any sexual desire. It simply never occurs to them. It's not the condoms that are actually the problem. I realise the Premier indicated at one stage that they were, but he's been under a lot of pressure for a number of years now, and I think if we were all held responsible for the things we say on national television, well, we'd be in a fine old mess, both as a nation and as a people. If the condoms were the trouble, of course, they would not be freely available in chemists and supermarkets all over the state. The problem exists only where people are buying them in order to put them into vending machines. It's okay if people are using them to prevent sexually transmitted diseases. That's what they're for. That's obviously all right. In fact, I understand the cause of the trouble has now been identified, and the Queensland Government's condition can be expected to improve.